Hello, wonderful friends and family. It's Incredible Mabna.
An incredible, yeah.
He's confused because we've changed the name now, but obviously, individually, we are Incredible Mabna and Incredible Yao. And I'm happy to say that we finally landed on a name.
Yeah.
So we are now Ed Dan Studios.
Fantastic.
Ed Dan Studios because I'm Edna. And my lovely husband is Daniel. So
Yeah.
Ed Dan
Yeah.
Studios. Oh, no, not studios.
Wow.
Ed Dan Podcast.
So yeah. there's also a dance studio.
Yeah,
so-
you can check us out on Instagram, Ed Dan Studios on
Yeah.
Instagram. That's a different thing. But yes, we're excited to come your way again today.
Yeah.
Today's topic stems from a certain saga that is going on in our home country, Ghana. About, I don't want to go into it, I don't want to mention names, but we want to talk about what information is too much to share before marriage and in marriage.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, so I think this is a very, very important aspect of every relationship. It, not even in marriage. I mean, as we discuss it, as we go along, we might be placing emphasis on marriage, but I think that it cuts across.
All right.
Yeah, people in relationship, because especially when I say relationship, I want to qualify, I want to be very specific. A promising relationship, which means a relationship
Leading
that
to marriage.
eventually, I won't sit here and encourage people to be in a relationship that will not lead to marriage, but that's my own opinion anyway. Yeah, so basically, a relationship leading to marriage,
Right.
and the sort of information that has to be shared amongst the individuals within the relationship.
So my first question to you, babe, is if you're getting to know someone,
Yeah.
you're not married, must you share every bit of information about yourself, what you've been through, where you have been, what your aspirations are? Must you share these?
I would say no.
Right.
The reason being that, first of all, there's a boundary. And what's the boundary? The boundary, there's a well-defined thing that you are entering in. So that could either be a relationship, it could either be a marriage. So the thing is, why would you be sharing something that has no relevance to what you're entering into?
Okay.
So I will start by saying, and to be very honest, and to be just so you don't get it twisted, this is just the beginning. When I say relevance, it's very subjective and it could be very broad. However, I will encourage that in every relationship, in every marriage, that obligation is placed on both individuals to share every information that they deem and they know, they very, very much know that is relevant to the relationship or marriage. And I'll be talking about this as we delve deep or as we go along. Yeah.
My point, I wouldn't advise or encourage anybody to share every single thing about themselves in a relationship, because in as much as both of you agree that we will eventually get married, you don't know if it's going to happen or not.
Yes, but then
What if-
on the flip side,
Right.
you withholding information that might be relevant or might play a crucial role or might make a difference? For someone to make a decision or choose you as a spouse,
Right.
there has to be some pointers.
Right.
And one of the pointers or cardinal points might be an information you share with them.
So, like, babe, if my genotype is going to be a problem,
Yeah.
if I share that with you, I don't see how that's going to affect me negatively. I wouldn't mind sharing that. But if there are certain things that, if the relationship does not move on to marriage, you could, like, it's something I wouldn't want anybody to know.
Well, you'll be doing a great disservice to
The partner.
the partner, because especially when it comes to, I think biologically, when it comes to the human body, you need to be very open to the person you're getting married to.
Right.
For instance, if you're a man and you have issues with your sex organ or whatever, you need to open up. If you're a woman and probably you might have done an abortion some time ago and it's probably had an effect on your ability to conceive in the womb, you have to let the person know.
Even though you're not married.
Even though you're not married, because you know very well.
But what if you tell that person and maybe to them it's not even a problem, but for some reason you don't get married? Then what?
Then that person doesn't love you.
No, that's not the reason why they're leaving you.
What's the reason?
Okay, the relationship didn't work. Then they're just gonna,
use it against you.
Telling people about you.
Yeah, but what if you marry?
If
and then you have that thing on you with you.
No, so what I was going to say is, if you get to the point where you think this is serious, this looks like he has intentions. You can see, like, we're getting to that point where we actually will get married. Then you can bring it up, and then if he doesn't want to, I don't know if it will be too late at that point.
No, on that note, then I agree with you. As long as that very piece of information is disclosed before you enter into marriage, I'm not too perturbed about the time scale as to when and at what time. But as long as you don't withhold, till you enter the marriage, or it could even be 3 days to the wedding or whatever, you tell the person you've done your job.
Funny enough, the example you used about the abortion thing. I am thinking, okay, so what if this abortion you're talking about did not affect, to the best of this person's knowledge, did not affect her womb or whatever?
I like this question.
Or even the man that has done an abortion with another woman. It has nothing to do with this new woman. It's his past.
I like this question.
How is that related to you?
Good. The reason I like this question, if you remember my opening remarks or my introductory statement, I said that I placed emphasis on relevance.
Right.
So if at that point you know that you've done something in the past, but medically you don't have any issues, you can conceive, especially a woman, then there's no need telling your spouse or whoever you're going to settle with, because it's not relevant.
Right.
It only becomes relevant when doctors have declared that, look, because of this abortion you've done, then you have to open up.
Definitely, I do agree with that.
So
what are some of the things that you think that couples should disclose to each other before they both agree to marry?
Yeah. I'll start with spirituality.
Okay.
So before you settle with someone, be very sincere with them.
I don't like church things.
Oh, of course, maybe that person is a Christian.
Right.
Because sometimes people pretend.
Right.
Because they see someone they like, they start pretending, they know that, oh no, this person he loves to go to church or she loves to go to church. And they start behaving, they try to come along. But meanwhile, they are not like that.
All right.
It will become a problem because maybe you settle with someone who is very prayerful and you are not used to someone praying. And then it becomes like, why is this man always praying? Why is this woman always praying?
No, but if you're a spiritual person, would you not know that this spouse I'm trying to choose is spiritual?
Oh, to err is human. Even the prophet Samuel almost made a mistake when he had to go and anoint someone to become a king. God had to prompt him. So as long as we live in this body, we are prone to mistakes. So irrespective of how spiritual you are, you could make a mistake.
Right.
So you need to open up and say, look, maybe I think spiritually, this is
I can see you like
this, but I'm not that type.
Stuff. All right.
But I can try. I'm not going to promise you. If you are happy to settle with me, fine. I'll try and come along, but I don't want to. This is me. I am at this level.
Or maybe the guy or the lady, whoever is spiritual, can also bring that topic of, look, this is me. I'm a church guy or girl.
Yeah.
This is what I love to do.
Yeah. Are you interested in that?
Yeah.
Because people have married, and especially our church, people have married, and it's like, look, it's like, oh yeah. One of them says, I'll be going on missions. They'll say, yeah, I'll come with you. As long as they tie the knot, it's like, look, this thing is
to hell with you.
It's too cumbersome. It's too daunting. It's too tedious. I'm going to live in a country where I don't know. I can't. Please, I can't. And meanwhile, you've married, and probably you have a child. That's a problem. So that's the reason I'm starting from that angle.
Yeah.
I'm using these missions and whatever as an example, but
Yeah.
there are a whole lot of examples when it
Yeah.
comes to spirituality,
Yeah.
you know, as Christians. Yeah, so that's number one.
And I also think that being sincere in that area kind of reduces the kind of stress both of you will be going through, because if I'm going to be pretending like I like church when I don't, and that is what this person likes.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, in the marriage, there's going to be a lot of quarrels around that
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
We're not going to have a lot of peace because it's like, let's go to church, I won't go.
Yeah.
You know, every day you be
That's the
fighting
thing.
around the
Yeah.
same thing. So it's
Yeah.
better
It's
to be
ve-
sincere
it's
right from
it's very
start.
important.
Okay, so second point.
Second point,
Things to disclose before
change is good.
marriage.
It's your body, your framework.
What does that mean?
Good. I'm going to break it down. So you probably might have and this I need to be very specific. You might have a condition,
Right. Okay. Health.
health-wise, medically. You may have a condition, and that condition might be a type of condition that will probably prevent you from doing certain things when you are married.
Right.
A typical example would be probably having a child, or that medical condition has actually made you a bit disabled. I'm trying to explain it
Because
in a
not
way
all
that
disability is
it's
visible. Yeah.
and you're going to be living with someone, and then probably with that kind of medical condition you have, maybe you've been declared that the next 5-10 years or whatever, you need support. You know, I'm trying to create an example. And then the other thing is the blood group.
Right. Yeah.
You have to disclose it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe your blood
Nowadays
group,
they do test. They
Good,
do,
fine.
Yeah. So
there might be a whole lot, but the body, your body, you need to talk about it.
if you have any
You,
health
you may have some
issues.
things. Yes. Sometimes it can even be the sex organ. There's an issue with it. You need to talk about it.
All right.
It's entirely up to the other
Partner.
the partner, yeah, to say, look, I know, I understand what you're saying. You have this condition, and I promise you, I'm happy to stay
Live
with
with you.
Then, in that sense, like I always say, what we go to do at the altar is not for a joke.
No.
It's not a joke at all.
No.
We go there and exchange vows. Everything you say there is indeed recorded in heaven, and you have to stick to. You need to honor your word. You need to stick to the promises you make on the altar. So that's number 2, your body, isn't it? Number 3.
So we're going to talk about after marriage as well. So you need to be
Okay, all right. After marriage, okay. So number 3 will be your past relationships.
What do you need
And
the
here-
person's past relationships
No,
for,
let me
babe?
come in. Here you have to classify. Not everything about your past relationships that you have to disclose.
Right.
But there are certain things about your past relationships that you may have to disclose.
Like
Why?
what?
Because they may be relevant to the marriage.
Like what?
So your exes. I'm trying to not the number of exes you've had,
Right.
but probably not to mention names, but you can say, oh, I've been, you know, you need to let the person know if you've been around the block. Do you understand?
I
Because
don't agree with you.
Why?
You mean the person's body count? Do you know what a body count is?
what is a body count?
Number of sexual intimacies they've had. Like someone will
Oh,
say,
no, that's
my
not what I'm
body
saying.
count
No.
is...
That's what it means. No, that's not what I'm saying.
All right.
So you just have to say that you've been in a relationship, not to give the detailed.
What for? How does that affect the relationship?
Because for all you know, and if something happened in your past relationship, in one of your past relationships, that you know that one of your exes is holding information about you,
Like sex day.
that's good. That is what I'm coming. It might be sexting or any other thing. But you know that this, if I don't disclose it, and later on the person I'm married to finds out,
It's going to be a problem.
good. So that's, let me come again. So that's what I'm saying, that it's not everything about your past relationship. I keep using the word relevant. You know that this very thing will be brought to the fore and can cause problem in my marriage.
Okay.
So I need to let my spouse or my partner know.
So that if it comes up later, it's not
Yeah,
a shock.
that information has to be classified. Not every information you share.
Okay.
Good. And what else? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Would you say that if, say, example, in your family, we're about to get married and there are issues in your family, that's not going to affect me, but like, say you and your siblings have issues, you're not so close, or there's a family debt that you're helping to pay or whatever, are these things you should tell your soon-to-be spouse? And if you do, is that not going to affect how this person sees your family? Because
Yeah.
it's like family secrets.
Yeah,
Kind of.
it might not be relevant to tell them, but it could also be relevant. How? Especially I was even going to come to finance or putting my financial resources together. It might be relevant to tell them why, because in a situation where you both plan to put your financial resources together, your monies together,
Yeah.
and you have a debt to pay,
Right.
if irrespective of you and your siblings paying together, you will also be taking money from your nuclear family,
Yeah.
as you and your spouse account, to
Right.
pay off that debt,
Right.
to pay your part of the debt. You see, it's the same thing financially. When you come into a marriage, you may have to disclose your financial standing or status.
Okay.
Why? Because you probably gone for a loan from the bank to buy a property, whatever. You're still paying it, and now you've agreed to have a joint account to put your monies together. You have to disclose
What
it.
if you're not doing a joint account?
If you are not doing a joint account, it might
Because
be
at the end
relative.
of the day,
It might not be necessary to
I'm
disclose it.
paying my bit of whatever contribution I have to do
Yeah,
towards the
yeah.
house. You're doing your bit. How do you need to know?
You don't need to, and that I can understand if they decide not to disclose it, because there isn't any that connection in that area of.
I would advise it. The reason I would still advise that is for transparency. There are couples who don't put their money together. They don't have joint accounts, but they are still transparent with each other. So, like, letting this person know so that one time you come back and you're like, oh, can you borrow me this money? Like, they'll be thinking, what do you need that money for? I know how much you earn. Why do you need... So they know, oh, maybe I've run into situations because of this money I'm paying.
This thing you're talking about is very controversial.
Is it?
Yeah, that is the reason why I've always been a great proponent of people putting their resources together in marriage. Because once your resources are not together, the person can have grounds to tell it into your face that, look, there's no justification, or there's no moral obligation placed on him to disclose whatever he's using his money for,
Yeah.
or whatever debt he has, or whatever.
Yeah.
You see, but where there's that commitment, and how does the commitment come about? The commitment comes about when you both agree to put your resources together.
Be
Then
transparent.
you're obliged to disclose whatever financial commitment you have.
So we've agreed that
Yeah.
before you get married, it is not important to tell your partner your body count, right?
No, that one I don't agree.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
If you've
Because it will even
indulged,
play on your mind later on.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you've indulged, in activities, any sexual escapades,
Yeah.
or had any not medical conditions, anything that has
Sexual
not
encounters.
that does not affect, or is not
Marriage.
going to affect the marriage, there's no need to bring
Yeah,
them
because
up.
why would you be telling your wife or husband to be that, look, my ex, he's the only person that I dated 5 men, 5 guys. He's the only person that made me really feel good in bed.
Hey.
And
Kadosh.
helped me to reach orgasm. So,
Kadosh.
I mean, how is it relevant? And then meanwhile, the person you are going to marry to is a novice, and now there will be pressure on him. Hey, it looks like he or she has been around the block, and me too, I'm also a novice.
It's not even
I
about
don't
being
know much.
around the block. Anytime for you to come up with that, it's start playing on their mind.
Yeah.
And anytime,
Especially when they are inexperienced.
or that person lives in close proximity.
Yeah.
When they see that person, they
Good.
feel like you still have
There
some
could be
sort
friction,
of attachment.
yeah.
Would it be necessary to show your spouse who your exes are or where?
It will depend.
Right.
Again, like I'll go back to the point I made earlier. If that ex has an important information about you, which they can actually launch as a weapon, against your marriage, then it's important you let.
But how would you even know that they can launch that information? Because maybe,
You should know.
right, babe, something's happened, like the current saga that's going on. This person had an abortion with this lady. They trashed it. Over a decade ago, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's come up. This guy's married, moved on. How was he supposed to know that after over a decade, something like that was going to come up? It's not affecting the current wife in any way.
Well, you cannot tell me that the gentleman involved in this case wasn't aware that the lady was hurt. 10 years
But
ago.
we've seen photos and videos of them together after
It doesn't
this whole
matter.
thing. So you wouldn't know.
No. He knows that the lady was hurt, and she wasn't happy about how the whole event unfolded.
So you think in this situation, it's important to tell your current spouse some of these things that had happened in your previous life.
Especially where you know that
There
the
are
thing was unresolved, lingering issues. Issues that are lingering. They haven't been put to rest or put to bed. They are still lingering. It could come up. Yeah.
Especially when this person keeps contacting you
Yes.
this thing is still hurting me. Let's meet and talk about this, all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you should disclose it before you enter into the thing, because that could be tantamount to betrayal.
After marriage.
After marriage. I mean, especially if this lady keeps coming up with stories saying this and that. How do you expect your spouse to feel? But if he had disclosed it, it won't be an issue.
No, I mean after marriage.
Not
We are
disclose it after marriage.
No, we're married now. Okay, as a married couple, what are things that should be discussed? What are things that, as they come up, should be known to your spouse? What are family issues, my family issues, your family issues that shouldn't be kept to selves? Because if they come up later, they will be seen as, oh, I'm hurt. I should have known this. You should have told me this. You shouldn't have kept this from me.
So I would just say that the things that have direct bearing, direct association, is like direct. It's like those things they are just you can't separate them.
Right.
It's like no matter what you do, they will come up. So you need to talk about them. But things that you know that they are so irrelevant, they will never come up, and it's not even they will never come up, but they have no direct relevance to the marriage or relationship.
Example.
So example would be, probably you went for a loan before you met your spouse, or this example you give, your extended family, that's your siblings or whatever, you and your siblings collectively went for a loan to buy a property. You finish paying the loan before you met your spouse. There's no need. There's no debt. You finish paying it. Of course, if you are doing joint resources, then you need to tell your spouse you have a property with your siblings.
Okay.
But as to how you got the property, it's
not
not needed
them.
because it's gone. You finished, it's sorted. You've met a lady, you probably had a sexual encounter, or met a man, had a sexual encounter. There was no pregnancy, nothing. You've both moved on. The lady or the man has married. There's no need to disclose it. But where especially there's been abortion, there's been this, and I think that when it comes to abortion, I think you should disclose it. And
Why should
I beg to
you?
differ on this. And I know I'll be expecting comments from our viewers. And some of you will probably disagree with me, and I'm happy to take comment from you. The reason I'm saying this is that sometimes you might have had an abortion, and probably whoever did it for you didn't tell you that, look, it had an impact or it's affected your womb or whatever. You wouldn't know, and you might be thinking that you're okay, not knowing that you probably might not be able to have children in the future.
Right.
So when it comes to abortion, I think that if you're a lady who has had abortion before, you need to tell
After marriage.
No, before you enter into the marriage.
We're talking about after marriage.
Oh, now we're after. Sorry. Oh no, after marriage, I wouldn't even advise that. Sorry, all this I thought we were talking before.
We've finished that,
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So after marriage, no. If you couldn't say it before you enter the marriage, then just keep quiet.
Keep it short.
And hope, pray to God that
it never
doesn't come
comes
out.
up.
Yeah, that's what I see. Because
So, what are some of the things that
And
should
pray to
be?
God that you'll be able to conceive, because if you are not able to conceive, then it can lead to another thing.
The whole video is not just dwelling on abortion. I know that's what
I'm
this
just
whole saga is about. But I am thinking, what are some of the things that should be discussed in marriage? Like,
After.
yes, as we're married, what are some of the things that come up that you expect your wife or your husband to discuss with you?
After, I will say, I won't talk about your past relationship should be before. But after, I'll say, wow, that's a very difficult one, because most of the information that you have has to be discussed before.
All right.
From where I
But
sit.
things happen when after marriage, after you've married, things happen. Things happen.
When you say things happen, what do you mean?
Things occur that your spouse may not be aware of.
Oh yes, yes. For
Okay,
instance,
so I'll give you an example.
yeah,
So I
I understand where you're
I
coming from.
go out and someone is hitting on me. You know, this person is becoming a bother.
Yeah.
They know where I shop. They know where my route to places and stuff. And I feel like I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
It is me this person is pestering.
Yeah.
Is this something I discuss with my spouse?
Yes, you have to discuss it. Once you're married, you have to discuss it.
So that you do what?
No, so that your spouse may not misconstrue any of, if later on they were to make any observations, or they may, if they happen to chance upon you and the other guy.
Okay.
Maybe the guy was chasing you or whatever, pestering you as usual. They may not misunderstand the whole thing.
Okay.
And especially, this is a very key area. You see, sometimes when we are married, yeah, we can have chats with the opposite sex. It can be going on for weeks. Even though it might not be anything serious. But once I think that every opposite sex, when you're married, every opposite sex in your life, your spouse should know.
Right.
Yeah, all the friends you have.
But some of these people have been, may have been in your life longer than your spouse
Yeah, so you should be able to introduce them.
has been.
Yes, oh babe, I have this friend. Sometimes you might even be chatting, oh babe, this guy, we used to go to school together, whatever. Chat. You see, don't, what I'm trying to say, don't, because you may never know what it could be. For instance, you've been chatting like your lady, you've been exchanging messages with a guy. It's been going on for 8 months. Your spouse knows nothing about it. And this guy you've been talking about, the chat, it's probably leading to something else, but you, the lady, hasn't realized.
Right.
And then they randomly drop a message which your spouse happened to see, especially with WhatsApp. The message can come on the screen.
Yeah.
And your spouse is, you have no diabolical intention or anything. You've got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
But how are you going to defend yourself? Especially then your spouse can say, oh, so you've been chatting with this person 8 months. Of course, can go back and see there was nothing. But you see, the thing is, anything that could create doubt, you have to try and eliminate it
Okay.
at the early stage as much as possible.
Okay.
Yes. Me, as I sit here, I can confidently tell you that every lady that I've probably had a chat with or whatever, you know about them. I'll tell you all. The ones that have even done things
But
that they shouldn't.
then, I have also spoken to some men who will say that I'll never do that again. Because the last time I spoke of, or I informed my wife of who this person was, person, because it created a whole lot of confusion.
Yeah, of course.
I worked with one guy. He's from one of the EU countries, and he said that he dated a Nigerian girl that they were in the process of, wanting to get married and everything, because the lady didn't have the right to stay. And the lady never mentioned that she had 4 children back at home. And I was like, how is that even possible? Because her body was, she says, no, there was nothing. Her tummy, breast, everything was okay. There was nothing to show that, So when he found out that this lady, how did he even find out? I think it was some chats, something, So he felt betrayed and cancelled the whole plans of getting married because it felt like, why are you hiding? If you have children, maybe it will be okay with me. It will be normal with me. I will accept it.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing, that if before you get married to someone, if you have kids, it's something you need to
that one
discuss.
there.
Don't
think-
spring it on people like
I think you're making a big mistake if you don't.
because how are you going to hide
Because
that child?
yeah, you can, and it's
Especially if the child is not living with you.
Yeah,
Maybe that
I
can be
know, come
possible,
on.
but
why would you do that?
I mean, when it comes to
The
life,
consequences will be very
the
great.
person will feel really betrayed.
100%.
Like, I don't know how you're going to redeem yourself.
Because it's a responsibility for someone to live with you and look after your child. It's a responsibility. So they have to come to terms with the fact that, look, I am ready to take up this
I'm
responsibility.
happy to do it.
I'm happy. If they don't want to do it, then fine.
They
Then it
can
means
go
you can
their
just
way.
go their way.
Yeah.
But it's a responsibility, and you cannot just
Spring
out
it
of
on
the blue.
someone,
Just
yeah.
yeah.
Added responsibility
Yeah.
they are not ready for, because some people are happy to look after, it's like love me, love my dog. They're happy to do that.
Yeah.
Some people cannot deal with it, so
You have to.
no,
You need to
don't
disclose.
surprise people
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And my last question to you is family issues. So if there is a family issue, like there's an issue, I can't think of anything now, but there's an issue in my family, am I obliged to tell my spouse, oh, this is what is happening in my family, like we're going through this, or my cousin did this, or my brother or my sister said this?
I think that there should be a little information shared, limited, very, very limited from your family, unless it's very relevant.
But the Bible says that we are one.
Yes, you are. It's you and your wife. It's you and your husband. It does not include your siblings.
Right.
So, of course, your siblings are also part of you. So you have your own level or way of dealing with them. But it would just be unnecessary
To bring their
issues
to your spouse.
issues that has
No
issues that
bearing.
have no bearing, no relevance. No, it's just
It'll be like telling people's secrets to someone else, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what? Let's say, for instance, your sister. Like I have a sister who is probably divorced before I met you. How is it important to you if I tell you?
It's important so that, like,
Are you going to marry my sister?
no, but with time.
Or even let's say my sister exes comes up with anything against my sister. How does it affect
So
you?
with time, as I'm also becoming part of your family somehow.
Yeah.
We'll be meeting at gatherings, we'll be chatting. So in order not for me to be like, oh, so when are you getting married? Because I know they are single. It's like maybe for the sake of I don't know.
I
But
understand where you're coming from,
I think
Even with that, at that point, my sister as an adult
can tell you
can
herself.
decide what she wants to tell you.
Yeah.
If she wants you to know, that's her own
Right.
her own cup of tea.
Yeah.
That's her own response. But I don't
It's
have.
not in your place.
It's not in my place.
Yeah, it's not
And my
something.
wife cannot be upset with me because I didn't tell her. Because
yeah.
that's my sister.
Yeah.
It's got
It's her life.
and it's got nothing to do with
Yeah,
her marriage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
So
right.
and especially like for instance, even your mom or your dad, what they've been through,
Yeah,
whatever experience they've had,
don't
whether
need
bad or
to.
good, you don't have to share it.
right.
You guys the two of you are getting married. Every other person is external. The only external things that have to be brought into your marriage are the things that are relevant to your marriage.
Right.
If they are not relevant, period, there's no need.
I saw this question somewhere. I know I said I was going to close, but I
Yeah.
saw this question somewhere that the person said, if there is any medical issue in your family, I think I have the right to know. So, like, for if there's
So genetically.
genetics, so if there's the issue of mental health issues in the family and you don't mention it, and then you're married to this person, you're going to have kids. Some of these things
Whoa.
can be transferred.
Wow.
You should.
Yeah. So back to what I said, if it has relevance. So this is a good example. I didn't think of it that, but like when we say it has relevance, it's very broad. So like if your spouse or your husband or wife to be challenges you that look, I
Is
think
there
I need to
any-
know is that they have specifics. Then at that point you have to because genetically they could be transferred. You might not have that mental health issue, but there might be people in your family who have it, and
Epilepsy,
the possibility that
anything
your
that
child could
can
carry.
affect, exactly, yeah.
So you need to let them know before, and some of these things, it's not after.
Yeah,
Before.
it will be too late though.
So that the person can decide
Whether
if
they
Charlie,
want to go on.
you have a child and then God forbid he has whatever.
Then you know where it's coming from.
You've got in
and you
your-
can also
in
monitor your
family.
children.
Yeah.
Because you know that this thing runs in the
Yeah.
family, so we need to monitor all of
And
that.
apart from that,
Yeah.
because sometimes people have this funny way of thinking, and they say that, oh, especially those of us from the Akan tribe, they'll say, oh, in this house, when you go to marry, they get divorced. No, that one I would not agree. You don't, because I will be what's it called? I will. I think that I will base everything on belief.
Right.
It doesn't. The fact that everybody is going to marry and getting married and getting divorced does not mean that that will be your portion.
No, that's not transferable.
That's not transferable. So that one I will not even discuss it, to give Satan a room to rejoice, to say, aha, I'm coming after them. No, I'm not going to do that.
One thing I would say as we are closing is know who you're married to before you disclose whatever. There are some people that if you give information to, it will be used against you and you'll never recover from it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There are some people that are not emotionally matured to take certain information. So before you share some information with your spouse, get to know
Who they are.
their emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Know how, when they are upset, the sort of
Yes.
things they want to use against you. Because when everything is nice, hunky-dory, it's okay. They are happy that you're revealing information and family secrets.
Yeah.
But the moment they are upset or the relationship goes sour, my goodness.
Yeah.
It will be on the blogs, all over their social media, platforms and everywhere. Anybody who cares to listen will hear your issues. So I think you should know who you're getting married to or who you're married to before you give what information to, really.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So today,
Yeah.
do you want to
And
sign out?
yeah, so just a bit of we always, in every relationship, marriage, 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 12 says that it talks about godly sincerity. And the Bible says that for this is our boast. He said that our conscience being our testimony. If you read that scripture, and then it highlights godly sincerity. I think that godly sincerity is very important in every aspect of our relationship, marriage. You have to be sincere. Things that you truly know. Even God being God. If you read Psalm 51, it says that, I think verse 6, it says that God desires truth from the inner man. So it's like even God is craving truth. How much more human beings? So we have to always be careful that we don't try to conceal things.
Information.
We need to open up and talk about things that have direct relevance to our relationship or marriage.
Right.
Yeah. So on this note, I want to say thank you. We really appreciate your support and your help. But please, we want you to share this video. You know, today someone met me and they was saying that, oh, I saw your video somewhere. I said, please. And it was, started talking to me about how it's impacted his life. I believe that God is working through us. We're just a vessel. And I want to encourage you, please share this video, share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed, maybe it could be that you're watching a video but you haven't had the time or the opportunity to subscribe. Please kindly subscribe. And I believe that with your support, we'll be able to reach out to more people. God bless you so much, and we'll come your way some other time. Bye.